Hi everyone, I'm JD. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, I'm a bit late, but I'm going to share my November journal prompt page spread in this video. So let's just flip through what I've got so far. So fun doing these prompts. I'm definitely looking forward to continuing this next year, but first of all, got to do December prompts as well. So after this video, I think I'll be announcing the December prompt, the last one for the year. Wow, what a journey. So just trying to find where my November page is. Okay, over here. Alright, so the prompt was favorite book or movie or song. Originally I was going to do all three, like one of each, but then I just got on a roll with books. Books are one of my favorite things in the entire world, and I could talk about books forever. So here's just some of my favorite books. What have I done on this page spread first? I used a page from Daphne's diary, just cut it up and stuck it on. So it's really nice and simple. And then I just could fill in my own favorite books and just write them on here. And I added some label stickers, so that's just saying what the prompt is. And then this one here is a quote, which I got from this bookmark that I got from Joy. So when I get a little money, I buy books, and if any is left over, I buy food and clothes. And look, it's Keanu. How cute is that? And so that's the first time I've heard that quote, and it really, really resonated with me, because that was me. Back when I was in Melbourne and before I discovered junk journals, I would buy a book every single week. And in fact, I actually probably bought a book 2 or 3 times a week, because on my way home from work, I would stop by the shops. Very naughty of me. And because I had this rule, if I go in a bookshop, I will buy a book. It was just a rule that I had in place. Because I love books that much, and bookshops, it just feels like home and heaven when I walk into a bookshop. And so yeah, I literally bought a book every week, if not more. And now that I live in Bowen, I don't do that anymore, because there's no bookshops in Bowen. Sometimes I buy online, but it's just, not the same kind of thing. And because now I've discovered junk journals, I don't read as much. The only time I read really is during holidays. So I'm looking forward to going to Melbourne, because I usually read about 10 books while I'm on the Christmas holidays. But yeah, what I figured was, I was thinking about this while I was journaling, reflecting on this page spread. I was just like, I don't spend money on books every week anymore. So it would have been at least $20 a book every single week. If I put it aside, that $20 every week, then I could buy like a $20 journal every single week. Or if I save that $20 every week, I could buy an $80 journal by the end of the month. And if I keep on saving that, a $160 journal in 2 months, if that makes sense. And I thought that really makes me feel better about buying journals now, because I used to spend all my money on books. Literally, if it was between clothes and food, books would come first. In fact, I don't buy clothes, so it all just went straight to books. That's all it went to. But now, all my money goes to now, my spare money, it literally just goes to either journal supplies or journals. But I always kind of felt guilty about buying myself a journal, because, I don't really need it. But hey, I never felt guilty about buying myself books. So, I enjoy reading, I enjoy journaling. And if I just, the way I'm kind of going on a tangent here, it's got nothing to do with this page spread, but I was thinking about that. I was like, well, next year, because when I set up my budget for next year, I'm going to set up how much to give to giveaways, and how much to give to supplies, and how much to give to my own journals for me. And I thought, well, $20 a week, if I put that aside for me, for a journal, that really, it builds up, and if that helps you to save for you, or if that, I don't know, gives you some inspiration, maybe it's not journals that you want to get, maybe it is books that you want to get, or something, I don't know, or something else. But $20 a week, that builds up. And I just realized when I was journaling this, that, that's how much I literally spent every week, sometimes more, because books can be $30 a book. And if I bought a book 3 times a week, that's $60 a week that I was spending on books. So anyway, let's get back to this page spread. Okay, so literally it's pretty simple, self-explanatory. I've just written my favorite books on here, and I've got a little, what's it called? Examples of some of my favorites. So Blue Like Jazz by Donald Miller. This is my all-time favorite. If I only had to pick one, this would be it. And it's not just because I love reading it and it's a great read. It's because this book, out of any book, inspires me to write. I want to write like him. And he really helped me to find my own writing style. I'm very much a life writer, and I want to write memoirs. That's what I do. And write my contemplations and reflections and lessons and insights. That's what I want to do with my books. And this book, anytime I need inspiration or encouragement to continue writing, this one does it. Because as soon as I read this, I'm like, I want to write, and I just get this urge in me, and it just builds up, and it's like I just want to explode because I just want to write so much, and just write these books. So that's one of them. And then my favourite writing book is Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. I had this idea that I wanted to buy every single writing book that there is, because, I wanted to be knowledgeable in my field, in writing. I wanted to be able to understand all the theory behind writing and be, a good writer. So I built up quite a collection of writing books, and you can see there's well worn. But this one's my favourite out of all the writing books because she writes in a style that's very witty and fun, but also in a more memoir style, which, I'm a life writer, memoir, that speaks to me. And these two are quite similar in that way. And then, let's see, going to one of my favourite childhood books, or when I was a teenager. No, I was a child, actually, because my grade 4 teacher read this book to us, and that's the first time I heard this book. And ever since then, it's been one of my favourites. And the reason why I picked this one out of any of my childhood books is because this is one of the books that I will read every few years or so. Other childhood books, I'm not interested in rereading, but this one I will keep rereading for the rest of my life. It's just one that really spoke to me at that time. I related to the main character, and it just helped me feel understood and not alone, and it really comforted me. So that stayed with me. And then another book from my teenage years, so high school, was Tomorrow When the War Began. There's 7 in this series. John Marsden, one of my favourite authors. He is one of my favourite authors. And he very much inspired me to, because back when I was in high school, I wrote a lot of creative writing stories, because in school that's what you did for assignments, but also out of school I would write my own stories, and his writing really inspired my style. And this is a series of books that, again, I read every few years, so those ones have stuck with me. And then this book here is the first book of a series of 5, so the Bulgariad. I got introduced to the fantasy genre in year 7, I believe, and oh my gosh, it was like, what is this world, this amazing world? So I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I love Lord of the Rings. Those movies are my favourite movies, and these books are just like my Lord of the Rings of books. Like, fantasy is just my favourite genre of fiction, I guess. So it blows my mind the way that a person can have this world that they've just imagined, and then they can put it into these words that another person can then go and visit that world. It's amazing. So the imagination, that's what I love about it. And if you know my publishing kind of company sort of thing, or my other email, it's Words Like Silk. That comes from this. My favourite character in this book is Silk. He is hilarious. I love him so much. He made me laugh, he made me cry, and he made me fall in love with writing. Because if a book or a writer can make you fall in love with a character, that's magic in my eyes. And it showed me the power of writing to make you laugh, cry, feel things, fall in love. I mean, to visit an amazing world and to give you this awe and wonder and inspiration. Books are amazing. And this book shows me that more than any other book about the power of imagination and that kind of thing. And so my other email, my regular email, is wordslikesilk@gmail.com. Okay, this book, Eat, Pray, Love, I chose this because Elizabeth Gilbert's one of my favourite authors. I love her writing style as well. It's the memoir, the life writing theme there, and this book was the first one that helped me through depression and anxiety. It just showed me that someone else has gone through this and I'm not alone, and she really helped me to heal in this book. And I just connected with her words so much the 2 times that I've read this, and I believe that every time I read it I'll get something different from it. but it will connect with me in a different way from whatever life stage I'm at, because it's all about finding identity and not necessarily going with what everyone else says you need to be or what society expects of you, but finding your own identity and staying true to that. And then, last but not least, for my examples here, is The Last Lecture. Now, this book, it's amazing. Again, it's my style. It's a memoir. It's life writing type of thing, and it's this guy's life lessons. Everything he wants to pass on, and I love his writing style. He's very witty as well, very intelligent, and very. I just love his philosophy, his perspectives. There's some really cool things in here. Things like. I can't remember, but some kids were in his car, like his niece or nephews or something, and they spilt some drink on his car seats, and the mother was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," and he's just like, "Whatever," and he actually tipped over his own drink, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, and she's like, "What are you doing? That's nuts." And he's very unconventional that way, but he was demonstrating his belief, his philosophy, that it's just a car. People are more important than cars, so I'm not going to get mad at those kids for accidentally pouring something on the car, because the car means nothing compared to these kids, if that makes sense. And so I thought that was lovely. And for example, he one of the cars got in an accident or something and it got a little dent in it, and the wife was like, "We need to go fix that," and he's just like, "No, it's fine, it's just a car, it still drives, it's got a dent, who cares?" And so I love that kind of philosophy, knowing what's important for him. People matter, cars don't matter, that kind of thing. And he had this kind of failure award, the epic failure award, so that his students would know, because he was a professor or lecturer, that it's okay to fail, and to fail in a grand way, because it meant you took a chance, it meant you really leapt. And I think he was saying something like, the people who risk to fail, they're the ones who actually go further, because they're actually taking chances and changing things and making a difference. If you're never going to try that, you're never ever going to make a difference. So those fail in a grand way, because it's setting you up for knowing that it's okay to fail, and just keep trying things, keep doing things. Anyway, I could go on, but I just love that. I hope those examples kind of gave insight into his unconventional nature, but I just really agree with his perspective. Anyway, so that's a little sampler of books that have had an impact in my life, that have changed my life. In the green here, along the bookshelves, I've written some of my favourite authors. And then up here, I just wrote, I really want to write another book. I want to write like 20 books, but this is another book that is really on my heart at the moment. And it's going to be a memoir of books and a personal history of books. So it's just going to be, because I grew up with books. I had a library outside of my room in our house. One room was actually a library, and so I just lived in that library. And at my mum's house, we would go to bookshops every second weekend, and she would buy me books every second weekend. Often 3 books every second weekend. And so I just grew up reading from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep, literally. She would bring me dinner on a tray, and I would have it in bed on my lap, and I'll just be reading the book while I'm having dinner on the tray. Same with lunch. So that's how much I was reading books. And so I'm very fortunate in that way, that books have been such a big part of my life. Even remembering things like when my teachers read us books at school, primary school. And one teacher in particular, my grade 4 teacher, always after lunch break, we would read one chapter every day or something like that, every single day. Other teachers were a bit more intermittent than that, but this one teacher in grade 4, every single day after lunch for 15 minutes would read, or something, half an hour would read. And the library, reading books at the library, when we had our library classes, the teacher would always read us a book. So then I started buying my own books, and like I said, like every week. And yeah, books are not only just fun to read and escapism, they show you who you are, they show you about yourself, they show you about the world, they show you what's possible, and they help you to dream. And I don't know, there's just so much more than books, and that's what I want to write in this memoir. Is I won't just write, oh, this is my favourite book and this is why, but I'll look at how the culture influenced it, and how I saw myself in the book and how I didn't see myself in the book, and how it taught me about who I am and who I'm not, and how it taught me about my culture, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that is a big ramble about books. Thank you for indulging me, because I just could talk about books forever and ever and ever. I love, love, love books for the writing and how it can impact someone's life. So I hope that was fun for you. Let me know what your favorite book is. What's a book that changed your life? Or what book should I read? What book recommendations do you have? Always looking for more. I have a book list of books I want to buy. So yeah, every birthday I try to buy myself at least one book as well. Now that I'm not buying myself a book every week. But when I'm in Melbourne, because there's bookshops down there, you know my rule, every time I walk in a bookshop, that's still in place. I still tend to buy myself a book anytime I am in a bookshop. So that's why I've saved a lot of money in Bowen without any bookshops here. But once I go to Melbourne, I kind of stock up. I buy like 5 books and bring them all back with me. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and I'll be back with the December prompt. Bye guys!